is 20 seconds. 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay. Rap your city. Let me see the mic. Rap your city. Give me the mic. Rap your city. I got you. Rap your city. I'm gonna tell you about mine. Rap your city.
It's time for us to go live, so rep your city. I really would appreciate if y'all roll with me. Feeling this music cause it makes me wanna step. And if you don't want it to, then you lying to yourself. Cause every time we party, we gon' have fun. I don't know about you, but I'ma rep where I'm from.
Rap your city. Okay. Rap your city. Let me see the mic. Rap your city. Give me the mic. Rap your city.
Welcome to the RYC Live Show this evening. My name is Artistic. I'm your host for tonight, and this is Rep Your City RYC Live Fresh Friday. And we do this each and every Friday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here broadcasting to you live from the base here in Chicago, and yet we circulate around the globe. So do us a favor right now. Keep it locked and loaded and tuned in to this channel on this platform here. And if you also can do us another favor by hitting the subscription button on our YouTube channel, that's RYC Live on our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button so that you can keep up with the latest and the greatest of what's going on. And if you'd like to be a guest on a future show, please send us an email to ryclive@yahoo.com. That's ryclive@yahoo.com, and someone from the team will get with you to book you for a future date on a future show. Also, if you like the programming that we continually provide for you each and every week, please send us a monetary donation. Show some love, and that you can do that by using our Cash App, which is RYC Live $, for the Cash App $, RYC Live. That's Cash App $ RYC Live, right? And show some love. Also, too, if y'all like the past shows that we've been doing, tonight we got another great show for you. We got some legends in the backstage area that we're going to bring out in a moment, and we'd like for you to raise any comments, raise any questions. We're going to be talking about some dance history, b-boy crews. You know what I'm saying? They go back from the 70s to the 80s, right here in Chicago, representing Chi-Town. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. It's all love. So if y'all know any of these brothers that we're going to be bringing out soon, make sure y'all acknowledge them, send some love and shouts out, and any other good experiences that you may remember. Also, please, we ask that you share the broadcast to a friend, to a family, to a crewmate, because you never know how connected we are in more ways than one. So this is July 19th. It's Friday night, July 19th. So we're in the middle, hot smack in the middle of summer here in Chicago, and we got a lot of things lined up. For all those that may not know, that this is in Chicago Hip Hop Heritage Month. So we send a shout out to all the brothers and sisters that's keeping hip hop alive in Chicago and around the world, but specifically right here in Chicago. Chicago is the month of July is Chicago Hip Hop Heritage Month. So if you have not done so already, please come down and check us out at the Chicago Hip Hop Heritage Museum. Okay, we're located at 4505 South Indiana. That's 4505 South Indiana, and we are open tomorrow. If you'd like to come check us out and take a guided tour, you can. We're open tomorrow from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. All right. So once again, we're located at 4505 South Indiana, If you like to book for a future date at a different time on a different day, you can go to our website at www.chhhm.com. That's chhhm.com, short for Chicago Hip Hop Heritage Museum. And you can book another date and another time to come take a guided tour. All right. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my homeboy. Goes by the name of Jack Frost in the background. So we're going to bring him to the stage. Y'all get ready for the one and only Jack Frost. There he is. What's up, my brother?
Hey, what's up, my brother? How's everything?
Oh, man. Long time in coming, man. We finally making it happen.
Oh, yeah, that's what's up.
Yes, sir. So welcome to the
What's
show,
up?
my brother.
Thank you for inviting me into this show for the second time. Last time we talked to some big heads, but
Yeah. So it's all good, man. Thank you for taking the time out because, again, like I said, this is very important. It's important to document our history, and we can't. If we are still alive, it's even better instead of just going off of hearsay, she say type of lingo. Get it from the horse's mouth.
right. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, man. So so my brother Pac-Man was the one that told me about you, man, and told me that it encouraged me that I should interview you. And when I finally connected with you and talked to you, my brother, I was like, wow, we definitely got to get that interview in, and connect all of these dots because there's a lot of dots that's unconnected.
Right. Right. It is.
Yeah.
That's why we never came across each other because things happen in life where I was going to school and they was continuing on doing what they was doing because I was older than they were. So
Right.
you came along, so we never got a chance to meet at that time.
Yeah. No, I agree. I totally agree. And it's okay, things happen for a reason. And that's why, when we finally get to the point to where we can connect the dots, it's good that we do so because we a lot of stuff become revealed to us, and then we be like, oh, okay, now I see,
Right.
How this whole thing,
Right.
plays its part. And so, so I thank you, my brother, and I'm so excited to hear your side of the story. So let's go all the way back to the beginning because everybody has their own side. They have their own way of telling their stories because nobody can tell your story better than you.
Right.
But also our experiences are different as well.
Right.
Different age brackets, different neighborhoods, different schools. So that's all a part of our experiences. And, again, everybody's experience is not the same. Even if we're at the same place at the same time experiencing something, we're still going to have two different stories.
Right.
So let's go all the way back to the beginning because as I mentioned, Dance Masters, I found out that there was another gentleman in the crew called Dance Masters who was a popper. His real name is Walter King. And he's also now a magician. He does magic. And he told me that he joined the group in, I want to say 78, 79. But he said all the guys that was in the crew at the time were lockers. And he said he said he was the only popper. So, but he said, but by the time he joined the following year, he was only with the group for a year because he said the following year the group broke up. And so I was trying to understand if that was the same crew that you were referring to.
The Dance Masters?
Yeah.
They was on the east side?
Yeah. Now that I would have to listen back to the interview because, he did share that information, but I don't remember it. I have to listen back to the interview. But I just know that he was telling me that when he joined, they only lasted a year after he joined because they broke up. And so, but he said he was the only popper at the time in the crew. And he said it was called the Dance Masters. And he said he was only popper. He said all the rest of the guys were lockers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to see as we talk if that was the same crew or what.
I'm not. That the thing is about that because he said he was the only popper. Then I'm trying to figure out because I know that there was a lot of breakers in the Dance Masters too.
Okay.
So some of them did pop, but they were more breakers than like he said he was the only popper. I'm not sure about the locking part, but I don't know if that's the same crew. So it could have been two different crews.
Okay.
And
Okay.
or they could have been, when he left, they probably started breaking.
Okay. Okay.
That could have been. I like to see him and see if I knew his face or something like that. I'm not too sure.
Okay. So
But
let me ask you, where the Dance Masters that you are referring to, where did that start? Was it on the south side or the west side?
it's on the east side. This
East
was
side.
they was actually located around commercial area.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, they were some Latino brothers and a couple of black guys too. So
Okay.
it was always a mixed crew. People had their own crew and stuff like that. Me, I bounced around just to see what every crew was doing in the neighborhood to see, where I want to go and who we wanted to be with. So then, like I told you, every crew had maybe one or two guys that was really pretty good in their crew.
Okay.
So how we was doing it was when we was forming Awesome, we was going around recruiting people before we got the group Awesome. So we was already forming. We didn't have that name yet, but we was walking around, and every time we went to different areas in the neighborhood, people called themselves breaking. We picked out who were pretty good in that crew.
Okay.
So if they wanted to join us, because once we start battling, they, like I told you, if we send Eddie or Pop out or Sal, it depends on what they doing. If they popping, we send Sal out or a guy named Rodney or Andre or me. If you're not doing, if you can't beat either one of them guys, there's no need to continue battling anybody, because Eddie, he was a threat too, because he can pop and break.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not doing anything to Eddie, no need to send out the little guy called Pop.
Yeah.
Once you go out there, if you ain't beating that little kid, it's over with.
Yeah.
So like I told you, when we was battling, we sometimes we broke the group up into like maybe 3 different groups. That way we can win first, second, and third.
Okay.
And that's how we used to do it.
That's
to take
smart.
first, second, and third.
Yeah, that's
how
smart.
good we were. That's how good we were.
Right, but that's also smart though.
Yeah. So we bringing first, second, and third trophies home. So that was the main 4 or the main 5. It was me, Andre, Eddie, Sal, and Joseph. When we break the other group down, is Gordo, James, guy named Poppin' Rodney. There was so many of us, I can't remember a lot of the guys' names. So when we break it up, because we knew what to do in different battles. So, we always sent the spy out just to see what was going on. Or we just come as a crew and spy, and just see. But when we used to break the group up, and we had a couple of different names, because you can't go under the same name.
Right.
So we had to go with the first name that we used to have, then another name we come up with, and then we Awesome. This before TNT came about.
Okay.
So Awesome, we was wrecking everything as Awesome before we met TNT.
Okay. So for the record, let's not like just throw these names, or not mention these names of these crews. So let's, for the record, which crews that were first that you were a part of? Let's kind of like
the first crew I was part of. This is when I was popping. Was called the Electric Generals.
Okay.
So that was from I think that's from the late 70s all the way to the 80s.
Okay.
Because I graduated out of grammar school in 80.
Okay.
So we was popping all the way from the late 70s to the 80s.
Okay.
And then going into 81, we was still popping. And then me and Andre, we started venturing out to other crews, which became the Trans Dancers.
Okay.
So Trans Dancers like what we had, so we joined them. But like I said, me and Dre was learning so fast with a guy named Vaughn, we tried to, form our own crew secretly.
Okay.
So, like we was just going out, just meeting people. And that's how we came across becoming Awesome TNT.
Okay.
The Awesome was the third group that we formed personally with Eddie and Sal.
Okay. So the Electric Generals, was that all poppers?
That was all poppers.
Okay. Okay.
All poppers, Electric Generals.
Okay. And what area of Chicago were you all from?
East side, the east side.
Okay. Okay.
Nobody knows about the east side.
Yeah. No, this is why this is good. So was that all black crew, or was it mixed?
It was all black.
Okay.
It was all black.
Okay. Same age brackets.
Same age. Well, it was a couple of guys older than me. So
Oh, wow. Wow.
yeah, so they might be like 60 something right now.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so there was some guys older than me. So
Gotcha. That's interesting. See, because again, like I said, I mean, a lot of people don't know that we go back prior to breaking. It was poppers in Chicago and lockers. Like we have a
right,
whole locker set from
right,
Chicago too. People don't know about. They think
right,
all the poppers and lockers came from California, but that's not
right.
true.
Not true at all. Like I told you, I seen some and I was like amazed. So when I seen them, like the guys from the West Side,
Mhm.
they was called the Electric Boogie Boys. When I tell you these guys was cold,
Yeah.
man. I mean, they really did some things that I was blown away with.
Now,
They really had it.
when you seen them, were you already dancing, or were they kind of like prior to
They
you?
they inspired us, because we seen the Big Show.
Yeah.
So when we seen the Big Show, we was trying to learn from the Big Show, Shabba doing them.
Right.
So then when we had a talent show in the neighborhood, this guy that used to have the talent shows, he brought these guys from the West Side and they blew our mind. And we was like, oh my God. So for what we was doing, it wasn't even enough. We couldn't even compete.
So wait,
But
when y'all had the talent show, was that on the east side as well?
that was on the east side.
So these guys came from the west side to
West
the east
side.
side.
Yeah.
And that's when y'all seen them do their thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they were called the Boogie Boys.
Yep, the Electric Boogie Boys.
Electric Boogie Boys. Okay. That's
And they were when I tell you they was cold blooded before they time. I seen nothing like I still haven't seen. Only time I seen something like that was in Springfield.
Okay.
Other than that, them guys was awesome from the West Side.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up. All right. That's another crew I'm gonna be looking for.
Yep, the Electric Boogie Boys. They from the West Side. They was cold blooded. When I tell you, it was a guy named Uncle Jam, and he jammed.
Okay.
And there was another guy. His name was just Frost, and he was cold. They was all cold. I just can't. When I tell you, I wish if I had the video footage, you would be like, oh my God, seeing these guys the way they move now, you'll be like, man, they had it back then.
Now, you mentioned the Big Show, and I'm glad you did, because a lot of times people may be too young to know about it. So obviously, if they were too young, they didn't see it, so they're not going to talk about it. But also, too, people, whether they've seen it or or not, most people not interested in going back and talking about history. But the Big Show definitely is important because that was one of the highlights for one of our well-known dancers who went on to be known and become known as Shabba.
Right.
After he performed on Soul Train, that was kind of like the next, step
Right.
up for him, as a solo dancer, was on the Big Show. And even though the Big Show wasn't really a long show, that was really only happened for a couple months throughout the year of 1980.
Right.
Yeah, so from like March of 1980 up until like June of 1980 was the Big Show on NBC.
Right.
And so Shabba, performed on there. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's great, because that also pinpoints too when people mention particular shows and they say, hey, I watched the Big Show, I watched Soul Train, or even before Soul Train, you had and for some reason it's escaping my mind right now, but there was another variety show called the Big Bill Hill Show. Okay, where people danced on that show. So this was like, we talking like the 60s. And
right.
So these were show, and it's like when you hear somebody mention a show and they can kind of talk to you a little bit about it, obviously they were watching it, you know what I'm saying? And or they they researched it enough to get information to share with you. But like other than that, like if you wasn't watching it or you ain't done your homework, you don't even know that these things happen.
Right. Right.
Like today, if you ask a young person, do they know or have they ever watched Soul Train, and they tell you no, and it's almost shocking, because it's like, if you didn't watch Soul Train and you ain't researched to know enough about that they even exist, where are you hiding? What rock are you hiding under?
Right. Right. Where you been? I know your parents had something going on where you did take a peep or something, or
Right.
a rerun or something. Because they can actually right now the way it is now, if they never seen the Big Show, they can actually probably go YouTube it and
Yeah.
bring it up.
Yep.
You know, they probably can't see that or
Yep.
anything that happened back in those days. You know,
Yeah.
they can pull out all that old stuff up still.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
That's the point.
it's a if they only know that Chicago, you know, that we had so much talent, but we didn't have the stage, the platform like California and New York.
Right.
We wasn't pushed like they were. It was like they was the Mecca, you know what I'm saying? And at the same time, Chicago was having the same thing going on, but we didn't have the, you know, all the lights, the glam, like, you know, everything was New York and California.
Yeah.
Chicago, we wasn't getting all that.
Yeah.
We wasn't getting that. Because if they did come to Chicago like they did California, New York, a lot of us would have been big time.
Mm-hmm.
We would have been big time.
For sure. Now let me just step back just a little bit because I'm trying to paint a picture for the audience as well.
Okay.
So the crew, the Electric Generals, you guys, did you all participate in competitions back when you were a crew?
Yes,
Okay.
we did.
Where were some of the competitions that you all?
They took us all over, like, to different neighborhoods, and the furthest we went was like Springfield.
Okay.
And we went to perform on a big stage. They got this. That's the first time I ever seen a massive crowd of people. Like I was at a arena.
Mm-hmm.
When I first came on, I thought I almost got stage fright when I stepped out there and seen a million people watching me perform on stage.
Okay.
And I did. Well, we all got a little stage fright because we never seen that magnitude of people, like, you know, listening to us as we come out and start our performing and stuff like that. So we were out there dancing against other crews, and we did see some things that blew our mind, like the Electric Boogie Boys also. But we never caught those guys' name, but they was awesome too. So they were pretty good. But and all the other competitions was like they'd take us to like different neighborhoods that was having big events out in their parks.
Okay.
So we dancing on the stages that they made in the park. We was performing, and you know, it was almost like a Don King thing. You know, we did win money, we did get trophies, but you know, okay, where the money go? You know what I'm saying? We wasn't getting the money.
Okay.
They was buying us a little uniforms and stuff like that for us to perform, but when it came to the money, we never really got the money.
So did you all have a manager or agent or something?
That's the whole thing. We had a guy that was taking us everywhere and doing these performances, but we never really, because us being young, we never knew about, okay, none of our parents was like, okay, where they money at? You know, they winning and they doing this. What kind of money are they getting out of this? But, you know, they was just buying us, you know, uniforms to perform in, you know, something different all the time, performance clothes. That was it.
Okay.
But we got some trophies and stuff like that, but we never got the money. So we don't know where the money went. Okay. If you saying the money went to the little cheap outfits, and I know we never know what the prize money really was because we never asked them about it.
Okay.
So, you know, even when we formed Awesome, you know, it still was some money involved, but nobody really said nothing.
Okay.
You know, we did win a competition and it was money being won, but we never questioned it. So we like, okay, we just put it toward the bank. I think we did have a bank account, but as we got older and they were under us, we never questioned, you know, like, let's split the money up and nothing like that. We just like left it alone.
Okay.
See, we never did what you guys did. You guys went ahead, and that's why y'all was a lot known, you know, with people, you know, because we didn't have that. We had mediocre people like, okay, we got you. We're gonna take you here. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that, and we didn't get the prize.
Gotcha.
But the only thing that we got out of it, the glory, was the competition.
Right.
And that's what made us feel like we was like little superstars, because we was out there performing for the people and people loving us. And we never thought about the money issue or what they was doing with it. It's just that I know it was a lot of money probably, but we'd never know.
Okay, so what year would you say the general uh what is it?
Electric General.
Electric Generals. What
I think
year?
the Electric Generals might have started in, I would like to say 76, 77, 78. We
Okay.
started performing and doing that dance.
Okay.
And I think we started breaking up in 1984 because me and Dre, Dre and another guy, we was more advanced than the crew that we had. So we was leaving them behind and we was finding other talent. So they started joining and we changed the name to something else. I can't remember, but I just stuck with the Electric General still.
Okay.
But we did change the name for a minute. And we started adding other guys that was pretty good. And we started performing, with these other guys. And, you know how your crew, they get mad because they trying to figure out what y'all doing, why we not in it no more.
Right.
They didn't understand, like, you ain't got what it take no more. Look, and we had to tell them they didn't advance.
Okay.
So we started forming, we just became a dance crew. So it wasn't no real name yet because we just out there performing.
Okay.
So whatever that day that somebody yelled like whatever name it was or something like that, that's what the name was for that time being. We just made up something just to be in the competition.
Okay.
And that's all it was.
Okay.
So we jumped around a lot from the 76 all the way up into the 80s.
Okay. So then how did the whole Dance Masters come into the picture?
Us walking around the neighborhood came across them,
Okay.
and they were in a hall. So they invited us in. So we went in and we checked them out. They was doing their thing. Like it's two brothers in there. One name was Mike. I think one name was Mike. I can't remember his little brother name. They was real cold blooded.
Okay.
And the other guys, if I can remember these crews, that's why I need Eddie around to remember what these crews' name was. So we was jumping, we just went in. It wasn't like spying. It's just that they showed us what they had. They liked us. They tried to recruit us. But again, like I told you, we was just trying to, find our own spot. Just like with Shyrock, we was partying a lot, doing our thing, they doing their thing when we came together and stuff like that. But we went our separate ways, but anytime we all met on commercial at JD's and showed what each other had. But the Dance Masters, like when they started seeing how we performed, this before we performed our groups, none of them won't have nothing. They didn't come up there because they tried to come in, like Latin Wave tried to come in, and they was copying off of some of the moves off the movie. Okay. So they moved one original. So we got guys in there like Eddie doing his own thing and Sal, and they looking like, oh my God, these dudes cold. And then we had another guy named Poppin' Rodney. He was so animated that he was a mind blower, and he also could break. He was a hell of a breaker.
Now did Rodney die?
I don't know if Rodney died because they just gave me his number not too long ago. I'm not even sure if he died or not.
Okay.
I heard something about that, but Rodney was usually when I tell you these guys are before their time, they were before their time.
Okay.
That's how it was.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll talk more about that off the record because I need to know if that's the same guy because I knew a guy named Rodney too. That used
was he tall?
Huh?
Was he tall?
He wasn't really tall. He was kind of like heavy set, a little heavy set, kind of stocky. But he was a cold popper. You know what I'm saying? But he died though. So but he was from off of the Trey. He was from off of over on the 93rd Street area. And he used to break with where he used to dance with my homie Speedy and them, which is some other Shot Rock brothers. But what I'm saying, but he died. He died in the 90s.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm not sure if that's the same one, but he was cold blooded. Eddie and them can tell you about that guy too.
Okay.
He's something else.
Yeah. That's cool. So okay, so Electric Generals, Dance Masters. What was the next crew?
Latin Wave. They was all Latin guys.
Okay.
They was all Latin guys, and they were pretty good, but everything was from somewhere else.
Okay.
It wasn't original. So everything that they saw on TV or from somebody else, that's what they was doing.
Okay.
So it wasn't original. So we seen it already. So, you know, if you're a popper, you got your own whatever dance move you created.
Right.
You know, your own Egyptian, you know, whatever you doing. They was copying off of like Boogaloo Shrimp and all them. You know, they was still a New York move. So when they was doing it, we looking like, okay, y'all, that's not y'all move.
Yeah.
You know, so but they were pretty good, but that wasn't their move. But you know, when they faced us, we had to kill them because they was popping, we was breaking, popping, and tumbling. So we eliminated them out of the picture. So the only other crews there's a few more crews. I can't remember what their name were, but we like took where the best came with us, put it that way.
Okay. And so what made y'all become to join in the crew, Latin Waves?
Latin Wave? Mm-hmm. We didn't even join Latin Wave because they didn't bring nothing to the table.
Oh, okay.
They was looking for members, but when we saying they was mimicking everybody else moves, it was like they was biting. So Latin Wave, you know, they had their own little crew of women that was crazy about them, but everything they did was TV.
Gotcha.
So there wasn't no need of joining them or taking anybody. They had a couple of nice poppers, but they didn't have their own imagination on creating their own, you know, animation. So everything was TV or what they saw.
Okay. All right. Do you remember, you know, some of the crews that you all did you all have any battles with other crews that you can remember?
No, I remember we battled the Renegade Rockers from New York.
Okay.
We battled them. We didn't even know they was in town. They crashed a competition up at this place called the MCC.
Okay.
We know that we was coming up there to perform at the MCC, but it was somebody brought them in town to try and steal the money and the trophies, you know, because they was in Chicago for something. Mm-hmm. But they came to where we was at, you know, it was a big old battle. And that's the day we broke the crew up into real three crews. So we won first, second, and third. I ain't gonna say that they didn't get down, but they couldn't mess with us.
Okay.
Well, because you know, we didn't only just pop. We had a routine before we all went out one at a time.
Okay.
So we did a routine that probably lasts like for a few minutes. You know, us like just doing stuff together and crossing each other paths. You know, moving, tumbling one person, the other person. You know, we was doing so many things, and that kind of like blew their mind. Like, oh, these guys doing something different because we now added tumbling in there, and here I am jumping up in the air, landing on my hands, dropping down into a wave and popping back up. Some things that they like, these dudes can also tumble.
Right.
So they and then here we doing aerials in places, twists in places, and then we going into a egg roll or a handspring. You know, they was like, these boys bad. And then we sent out, then the poppers go out, and then the breakers go out too. They didn't have nothing for us. They threw down, but all the other stuff we had a whole bunch of we had a whole arsenal of things that we wanted to do.
Yeah, y'all had a complete a way more far advanced complete package that more than what most crews had at that time.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we was like before our time. Mm-hmm. When I tell you before our time, all three crews, we won first, second, and third.
Wow.
Renegade Rockers, they left with no money, no trophies.
Wow, and they were from New York.
But they were pretty good. They were pretty good though.
But you said they were from New York, right?
They're from New York.
Okay.
They're from New York. Yeah.
Now the MCC was that one of the community centers over on the east side?
Yes, it's still there, but it's vacant.
Yeah.
It's vacant.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's what's up.
And that was a place where a lot of battles took place, but people were scared to come up there and battle us. So at the MCC, when people liked us, they made us. They invited us in, and they just had us as we started training breaking up in the MCC. People was coming up there learning. We was teaching people at the MCC.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so we had 1,000 people come in and try and learn. Even Shyrock came up there and was kicking in and and breaking with us. We was all trading secrets and stuff like that, breaking, popping, tumbling. We was doing it all.
Okay.
But we ain't never, we just did it for fun. We never battled each other because we was cool with one another.
Okay.
But if they needed something or we needed something, we was there.
All right, so check it out. We're going to actually take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back.
Okay.
You're watching the RYC Live Show, and we'll be back right after these messages. Welcome back to the RYC Live Show. I am your host for tonight. My name is Artistic, and we have our special guest, Jack Frost, on with us tonight. Welcome back to the show.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. So before we get into talking about the details behind Awesome and TNT, how did you come up with the name Jack Frost?
One day I was just trying to figure out what my name was because it was a movie I used to do when I used to shake real bad like I was cold.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, he's like, you need a name.
Uh-huh.
Something cold, but like the old cartoon,
right.
The Christmas cartoon was Jack Frost.
Right.
The guy that did the cold.
Right.
So I said, I'm gonna go with that name. And when he used to blow the cold air out, you can see it on the flakes. So I used to have powder in my hands. So it's like when I perform under the strobe light and I hit my gloves, it was like like ice.
Yeah.
That's how I used to look with the strobe light. So
Yeah.
people kind of like that.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm gonna stick with Jack Frost.
Okay.
So that's what it was. So when I started like shaking like I was cold and moving and dancing, people like they liked the way I do what I was doing. So I was like, I'm gonna keep Jack Frost. So that's how it came about because people was like, you need a name because they say, what is you mimicking? I said, I'm mimicking like someone that's real cold and he's throwing frost like ice. So then when they put me on the strobe light, I had white gloves on and I had on dark clothes. So when I hit my glove, it was like powder. It looked like snow. You know how a strobe light is?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
looked
Yeah.
like a cloud of snow. And I was acting like I was cold and walking. And that's where Jack Frost came from.
Dope. Dope. Dope.
Yeah.
So what was your specialty moves? You were more of a popper, right?
I was more of a popper and a tumbler.
And a tumbler. Okay. So
Yeah, tumbler.
what did you have in terms of popping? What was you animation, popping, waving, ticking?
It was actually all of it.
Okay.
It was all of it in one.
Okay.
It was all in one. Whatever I go from one to the other.
Okay.
And then, once my turn was up, the next person come out because we was only given a certain amount of time to go out and do what we could do. So I go out and I would tick, then I would Jack Frost,
Okay.
and then I would wave, then I would wave, and then I just go back in and I just animate back into line,
Okay.
get back in my spot.
Was you
Until 'cause it was always popping, and then the next level would be breaking. And
Okay.
nobody knew about tumbling. So that was like the finale. If nobody came out to do anything like that, tumbling would be the finale.
Did you do any roboting back then at that time?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. That comes from Michael Jackson.
So, I got my homeboy checking in right now. I want to send a shout out to Dean Turns. He says, Funky Fresh, the Dean loves y'all. And then shout out to my homeboy Sean Rocker. Now, this is another guy who also was a member of the Brickheads. Okay. He says, I remember Popcorn telling me about Awesome. It's spelled differently, correct? So now let's talk about that. Let's talk about the legacy or the history of Awesome and the connection with TNT, which was a crew from Indiana. Let's talk about
Right. Okay. Awesome. We was all, we went through the neighborhood. A lot of people didn't want to battle. So we kind of like battled ourselves every day, to get better, battling one another, So we used to just walk around and see if we can find anybody that was breaking in our neighborhood. So one day it's a club that's on commercial that, we never went in there, but we seen they had a dance floor one night. That's where we seen TNT at.
Mm-hmm.
So when we went in there, they thought we probably was a gang because there's a nice amount of us. And then they started popping and breaking. Then we started popping and breaking. And we battled a little bit. We liked one guy for sure. I just can't remember his name. He's pretty cool. I don't know if it's Adam. I can't remember his name. Eddie know his name, but
Okay.
We did a lot of conversating and they told us where they were from.
Mm-hmm.
So they invited us to Indiana.
Okay.
So they was like, we'd like you guys to come out because they had a big battle at a civic center or something like that in Indiana. Mm-hmm. So it's like one of the biggest battles that was going on from breakers coming everywhere to Indiana to this civic center to battle. So there's a whole bunch of breakers out there. So we went on probably last. We went on last. So when we got out there, we started performing and, we did our routine. Me, Eddie, Sal, Andre, and Joseph. We did our routine, and like I said, we broke the group up into twos that day. So it's two different crews of Awesome at that place. TNT was with us too, so we was kind of mixed. Okay. So that day we was all breaking there. So TNT, they was well known in Indiana because they was the well known crew out there. So we came out there to help them, and we tore it up. Then these guys had some guys out there that was tumbling, and it's like tumbling was like the thing in Indiana. So every time they start breaking, these guys go out, they do a round off backwards, a little generic no hand, and that's what they kept doing, you know. And we kept looking like, why they keep flipping, you know, because now it went from popping, breaking to tumbling.
Okay.
So every time they was doing each other, they come out and they just started doing it backwards with a no hand. And so we like, okay, but TNT, they already knew that we knew how to do that. So they asking us what we waiting for. We like, let them keep doing it, and then we're gonna end the show.
Right.
When we end the show, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be the end. So we killing them and popping and breaking. Nobody had it, but here they go with these little flips.
Okay.
So they open the crowd up with the little flips. So that was their finale. Once they did it, they went out, they did their flip, and they like, yeah, okay. And they thought that was it. So me and Andre and my brother just happened to go with us that day. He did a little breaking, but he wasn't awesome.
Okay.
So that day, you had 3 guys that went out there doing no hand, twist backwards, full twist, half twist, Ravens. We just killed it and we just shut it down and we won. We took the grand prize.
Okay.
In Indiana. So that's how TNT came about. They was here. They was on the east side first at a little club, and we met them there. We went to their hometown. We battled the guys that they wanted us to help them beat. We beat them, and we joined forces, so it became Awesome TNT.
Okay. Okay. Once again, shout out to my man Sean Rocker. He says I'm definitely still brickheads. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. You know, he's also a DJ too. I don't know if you ever got a chance to meet him, but you know, he's a dope artist, dope b-boy, dope DJ. So and then he also says TNT was one of the first crews from Indiana I seen snap. Okay.
What was his name?
His name is Sean Rocker.
Okay.
Yeah. So you know, so going back to and then he says mad power moves. Going back to like the early 90s, because you know, like I say, I used to dance with Popcorn and Chinaman, you know, back in the late 80s, early 90s. And you know, we used to go up to the community center on the east side, and you know, we used to go to the Blue Gargoyle in Hyde Park.
Yeah.
You know, and wherever we got a chance to do what we did, wherever we got a chance to showcase our skills, we would, right? We used to also dance at another spot called the Alcatraz.
Okay? I remember that place too.
Yeah. So, but in the 90s, when they started, you know, like you said, when Eddie started connecting with cats on the north side, and then, you know, and I don't know the whole story and details about how that all came about, but I just know at one point I started hearing this name Brickheads.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and then I would see Eddie, you know, and I'm like, you know, I would see him and Ruben, and I'm like, you know, what is, you know, he's like, we the Brickheads now. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, okay. So, but when it was like newer members a part of the crew now, you know. So you had people like Waka. I think that might have been who you was referring to, you know. And Waka was a brand new guy, but he was cold. He had a lot of energy. You know, he had some really, really interesting, fascinating technique. You know what I'm saying? In his moves, he was a power move dude. You know what I'm saying? But he was like the hottest at the time. Then they had upcoming cats like CJ, right? You know, CJ was every time he would go out, he would rock these flares. You know, and he was a flare guy. You know what I'm saying? You know, and so you know, so they continue, and then like I say, Sean Rocker, you know. So, you know, they continued to grow and develop. And they had a lot of, you know, and they was in a ton of battles. The Brickheads was in tons of battles, bro.
Yeah, I know. I heard.
And when I got a chance to see some of their showcases, I was pretty impressed because Eddie was still battling. You know, and I was like, man, Eddie, you look pretty good, man. You know,
he's still battling.
Yeah,
he's still battling. And one of the Brickheads live right here, well, next to me right now. He's supposed to come on tonight, but I don't know what his daughter have a birthday party today, so he couldn't come on tonight.
Okay. Yeah. So they definitely got, you know, they obviously had a good recruiting system because they started recruiting many members in the crew. But I definitely remember in the early 90s when they started using that name, the Brickheads.
Yeah, Eddie had when they was forming that group or however it came about, he's trying to get me to come out, you know, and still like, you can still do this, you can still do that. I say, yeah, I can do that. He's like, you need to come, you need to come, you need to come so they can see it, you know. And then he's like, and he say, just so I can see it, let me see you bust the move now. So I used to bust the move for him that he wanted me to do. He's like, man, you need to come bring that. So they can, if you don't want to do it no more, maybe somebody else can get it and they'll take it. You know, like, you know, it ain't a bite, you know, because we all brothers. He said they can take that move, you know, that tumbling move you do when you go up in the air and you come back and you roll and like a worm and then you pop back up. He's like, if you can show somebody that it was, they like it. It was a dope move that I used to do. That's my finisher.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my finisher. So, I can pop up in a 360. You know, they was like, man, if we could show somebody that, you know, maybe they can learn it. Because I was trying to teach it, but people were scared to go backwards. You know. But a person that can tumble, they wouldn't have no problem with it.
Right. I was just going to say, you know, somebody that had some experience with tumbling would be able to kind of adjust to it.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the brickheads, when I heard about them, as they was talking about it, he's like, man, he's like, you need to come see this dude. He said, we really tearing it up.
Mm-hmm.
So I never got a chance to go, you know, kick it with those brothers, but I knew Sal's son was part of it, you know, and it was a couple more guys that I knew, but I can't remember who all was part of that, but they were still getting down at their age. I'm like, y'all still doing it?
Yeah.
They were still doing it.
Yeah.
I said, man, my bones probably be like, I need some oil or something, dude. Say,
well, you know, you know, at some point, you know, I must admit that breaking kept all of us in shape. You know, it kept us in shape, especially for many of us that continued to do it for many years. You know, on after most people had stopped.
Right.
Because you know, once you stop, it's kind of hard to kind of get it back going.
Right.
If you've been away from doing it for so long. You know, but for many of us, man, it definitely kept us in shape, bro. Like,
oh man, you talking about muscle exercise, man. That was one. Yeah. I was like really in shape, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It was a thing for me. So
yeah. I mean, and that's all it was exercise. We got exercise. We didn't have to go to the gym because our gym was dancing. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, because you could get a good workout without having to go to the gym, you know, if you knew what you was doing, you know.
Right.
And when we was dancing, you know, back in the 80s, you know, it got to the point where we had to do warm-ups just so that we would prevent less, you know, prevent less injuries. So, you know, you get your body warmed up before you can go into all of these high-powered moves, your muscles got to warm up.
Yeah, we were stretching. We were stretching too.
Exactly.
We did a little stretching and you know before we did it, you know, we didn't just jump into it.
Yeah.
We were stretching. We were actually like doing dive rolls and you know pulling arms and stretching legs so you wouldn't hurt yourself. So we was doing a little workout before we started breaking. So we wouldn't so you wouldn't get hurt.
Yeah. It made a lot of difference when you did the stretching. And then it also made your body more flexible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you stretched, you know what I'm saying, you know, it gave you a little bit more endurance, a little bit more flexibility, you know what I'm saying? And then it gave you a little bit more ease in terms of doing different moves, you know what I'm saying? Because when I was dancing at my peak in the 80s, you know, I was a crab master. I could rock crabs real good. Hand spins, hand fist glides. Windmills, backspins, you know, footwork was big. Like today, cats don't even bother to do. They barely do up rock and footworks. They go right into they go right into power moves. But that was almost a given. You had to perform some amount. Of
you know, you had the up rock. You know, that's the whole thing. Instead of you just going into like all your power moves.
Yeah.
You got to perform your dance first, and then go into all that. Because if you ain't got your up rock moves, it's like, oh, you just a regular power move. You just going into the little gymnastic stuff, and that's it. Yeah. And you might do a little popping, but you know, that kind of person right there, he lose because that's all he got.
Yeah.
If you got somebody that can pop, power move, and tumble, you done.
And then the other thing was routines.
Routine. You
You
gotta have
know,
a routine. And
we.
that's the whole thing about that. You have to have a routine before the battle.
And see what another thing that a lot of cats don't do today is they don't know how to dress. You see people
Right.
that you see guys that's a part of the same crew, and all of them dress differently.
Right.
And so when they go out to perform, even if they got a routine, which many of them don't, but when they do have it, it still don't look as good as if they were dressed together.
Right.
for
They
the
had the
routine.
same thing.
Yeah.
If we had the same thing, you can tell we was the same crew.
Exactly.
Yeah, we had the same thing.
But
But now, like you say, they don't do it.
yeah, and that was
They
just the
got
thing. That was the aesthetic about dancing back in the 80s was, you had to have style, you had to look fresh, and the more you did it together as like you say, as a routine, or what some people call what is it? What's the technical term in the dance world? We always said routine, but what is the technical term
Yeah,
for that?
I know what you're trying to say.
Choreography.
Right, right, right.
Choreography.
And see, we had a hell of a choreography. We came up with the most. When I tell you we was before our time with the routine,
Mm-hmm.
it was I wish somebody could record it,
Mm-hmm.
and it would have been a little mind blowing because it used to be me, Eddie, Sal, Dre, and Joseph. It used to be five because it only worked with five, not an even number.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't do like six. We had to have an odd number. So five of us, if the whole routine worked better with five people instead of six.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we broke the crew up into like maybe two or three other crews. So everybody can get a chance to do it. Everybody can showcase their battle in each crew that we had, that was battling. So it worked for us. It worked for like five people with the major guys that was in the crew.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second crew, all three crews was dangerous. I ain't gonna lie.
That's what's up.
I'm not gonna even lie. Even us battling the second crew or the third crew it was a give and take.
Okay.
It was a give and take. It was like that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say we was dominating the second and the third crew. We was just that good.
Yeah. Yeah.
We was that good.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about so when did you kind of stop?
It started coming to an end in the late '84.
Oh, okay. So you stopped early.
Yeah, it started coming to an
Wow.
end because I was in and out in '84, '85.
Okay.
I show up because, like I'm saying, I'm getting ready to go to college.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we start, and then you got a girlfriend too, so it's like
Yeah.
a lot of things. Like, hey man, I just met a bad chick and she ain't giving me no air. So it's like I say, we were older.
Yeah.
And they were still young. So it was more of them saying, "Hey, what's going on with y'all? We got this going on." Andre and them, they was all going to the military. They was going to the Marines.
Gotcha.
It was like after school, that's what they was. They'd been recruited to the Marines and the Army.
Yeah.
So we had like 6 guys. They was going to the military, and the other one was going to college.
Mm-hmm.
So when we did come home, Eddie and them was still trying to get us to break. But you away from home, the energy, it wasn't there no more.
Yeah, of course.
Except for so if we out and about, we might just bust a little move and for old time fun. But now you seeing something different in life, you like, okay, these guys ain't graduated yet, and they on their way to graduate out of high school. What they gonna do? But they still kept breaking. So
yeah, definitely. They Eddie was hardcore with it, bro.
Yeah.
And I have to give him mad props.
Oh yeah, I take my hat off. I take my hat off to them.
Because not only did he continue, dancing, but he continued the legacy of the crew. So the recruitment of other members and training and teaching them, that legacy was cemented. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's not easy to do. Not a lot of crew.
Yeah.
That's how when you think about the Rocksteady crew, how you think they survive all these years?
Yeah.
They had a good recruitment system.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then they had started having recruiting members from, and putting them in different chapters all around the world. You know what I'm saying? And that's how the legacy of Rocksteady remains to this day.
Yeah.
Whether you like them or not, the fact of the matter is that they still around.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's a point. I just wish that we would have been at that point. But like I said, that us, the age factor was a little different, because we started seeing, job opportunities and stuff like that. It's like the fun. We still was having fun, but we was getting older.
Yeah.
And so we looking like, man, I gotta get a job.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna be out. We was out there like kicking it, all night and stuff like that. But when you start getting older and you starting to graduate from, high school, everything started changing. So
yeah,
Eddie and them, they was trying to keep it going. When we came home, they're trying to keep us, like, come on, try and get us back into it. But like I said, we'll pop up every blue moon. They still doing it. We rocking with them. We'll do a little something, and that'll be it. But then we just start fading away more and more. I was like, well, y'all gonna keep it going, man. Keep it going. And we'd go check them out, from time to time when they was out there breaking. But we just didn't have it in us no more. But we were still straight, b-boys. So
yeah.
we just had a whole different another look at something else.
When did you come back from the military back home?
Well, I was in school. I came, coming, it was Andre and them that went to the Marines and the Army.
Okay.
So it's like about 4 of them went to the Marines and the Army, but the rest of us went to college and junior college.
Okay.
So it was whenever we had a break from school, we'd come home. But it's like getting cold. It's getting cold outside. And they was, I'm coming home, I'm thinking about something different. I'm trying to do something different.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
When I could go around them, I went around them. When I didn't, I couldn't. They was meeting at people's houses and stuff like that. So I'll come over there and I hang with them, wherever house they was hanging at, or we just talking. And we in a little house somewhere, and they be like, man, can you bust a move in this little room? When I tell you the room is like the size of a, like, I mean, it's like 100 of us in a room, and it's just a little space. And they telling me to perform the backflip in this little room that they love. I said, are y'all serious? They said, man, you ain't got it no more? You ain't got no more? And literally, I let these dudes talk me into doing that. And I pulled the move off in that little bitty room. But when I started to get up and walk away, I was like, oh my God, muscles and stuff like that. But I did, but they was, when I tell you these guys, they was awesome. They was doing it in a little bitty space. It's like a boxer. He in a little room, and if he defending himself, it's in this little space. And them guys was off the chain, doing stuff that I wouldn't believe. I mean, handsprings and egg, spinning egg rolls in this little room.
Yeah.
And we all right there. Nobody's getting hit.
Yeah, and that's a good way to train yourself to a degree, being confined to a little space. But the difference is too, though, is this, because I've experienced this. I used to break in my basement. So, but back in the 80s, obviously we were younger, so our bodies weren't the same as it was as when we became adults.
Right.
So when you go back to that same space as an adult to try to do some of the same things that you did when you was a kid, it's gonna be different. Like,
it was different because they had to really tell me I ain't got it. You ain't got it. They talked a lot of trash, dude.
Yeah.
And this dude talk a lot of trash. They'll bust a move and you be looking like you battling me.
Yeah.
That's how it was. And we in a room and Eddie, he was a jokester anyway. He's like, what you got? And then he try and pump Sal up or Chinaman or something like that. And these guys, and you be sitting there like, man, I ain't gonna let them talk me into doing this stuff. But they will, because when they pull the challenge out, so you got to go ahead and do it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
just I had a lot of fun with them guys. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
we did some things, man. If I can turn the clock back, I wouldn't change a thing.
Now
And
let
I can
me
tell you, we was before our time.
now let me ask you. You keep mentioning Sal, and if I'm not mistaken, I want to know if this is the same Sal that you're referring to because we have a Sal checking in. So now the Sal that you're referring to did he also do graffiti?
I don't know if Sal did the graffiti like Eddie did. Sal really went into Sal was like more like a laid back. His son was a graffiti guy. His son name is Sal.
Okay. Okay.
So if he from the Brickheads, that's his son.
Okay. So
If that's who it is.
well, I'm talking about like during, back with, from
No, he really wasn't. He really wasn't into all that.
okay. Okay.
Sal was more like a little playboy type of guy.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because
You know,
there
he
was a
pop and he break. You know, it was he was smooth. You know, he's
yeah.
pretty good too.
Yeah, because there was a Sal, they called him Sal Ski. He was also a graffiti artist. They had a crew called the BTB, Born to Bomb.
Okay.
Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, that's why I'm trying to get this straight because when I talked to Sal, he was saying that he had heard of the Brickheads or Awesome, but he said he didn't never meet any of them.
Oh, okay. Then
And
it's a different Sal
yeah,
then.
yeah, yeah. And I was, I'm like, really? And
And-
and that's why this is important to have these conversations because
right.
sometimes we talk about somebody, we might mention somebody's name that we think we're both familiar with when technically we might be talking about two different people.
Right. So the thing is that if I can get these guys to come on this show
Mhm.
and they can tell you everything, so, and everything can be put on a map, but everybody seems like they too busy or you can't reach out to them or something like that. Like even one of the brickheads, he's like, yeah, man, I'm gonna come on with you and this and that. Then he called me, he's like, hey man, my daughter's birthday. I say you just can't jump on for a minute and
Right.
your wife will handle that. Just get on for a minute so they can see and you can talk. But he was like, no, I ain't gonna be able to, man. I think I can do it on a Tuesday. And I said, I don't know if it's gonna work like that. I said, I can see,
Well,
other day he has it on, but I'm not too sure.
now here's the thing, brother, and this is like I don't understand how people they don't want to be forgotten. They want their legacy to continue on and on and on, but they can't find the time to tell
Right,
their stories.
right.
That
So
behooves
that
you.
right. So that's like me coming on here, like, yeah, it was me, Dre, and Andre. It's me, Dre, Joseph, and a couple of other guys, and I don't mention them. Then they be like, hold on, wait a minute. They didn't
Yeah,
say, like,
exactly,
but like,
exactly.
well, y'all, I didn't talk about y'all because y'all not coming on.
Right.
But I'm trying to just put together what I know. But I am giving you the major names
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
how it really started because the recruiters actually was me, Andre, Eddie, and Sal,
Mhm.
and Gordo and Chinaman.
Okay.
Those were our power guys besides Little Pop and Caco.
Yeah.
And I said it's like the best out of, when we first started, I think it probably was about a good 10 of us and then everybody else came about.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when they seen who we were, they was like, oh, they started joining. And
Yeah.
this before we came up with, Awesome, the
Yeah.
group Awesome. So
Right.
it's mainly like that. They was trying to find their name. It was me, Andre, Joseph, Eddie, Sal, Gordo, and another guy named Orlando.
Hmm.
Chinaman, when Orlando left, we ran into Chinaman who lived on the next block from me. And
Okay.
we came up with the name. So once we got that name together and we all met on this block, I think it was Baltimore where we used to break at
Hmm.
outside. So when we came there, people was like, what's up? Like, we got the name. They was like, what's the name? He said, Awesome. Everybody just went crazy. They was like, oh, okay. And out of nowhere, I tell you, so many people just started coming out of nowhere, joining our crew. We didn't even have to go search no more. So we give them a trial, at the MCC. If
Right.
you show us what you got. So some guys are coming up there, we knew they was trying to, spy. They coming to join, but they coming to see what was going on there. So some of the guys had good moves and they went back to their crew, but we never battled those guys that had the crew because he probably went back like, no, we can't beat them. You
Right,
know,
right, right, right,
they
right.
sent them just to see, you know, how it was, but they probably like, no, these boys is bad.
Yeah,
These
yeah,
boys are bad. So
yeah,
that's how that was. When I tell you that everybody that can pop, that can break, that can tumble, it was we was a crew to be reckoned with. We had it all. That's why when Shyrock, yeah, they used to come up to the thing, we used to have fun, you know, because we all was, you know, we was all doing our thing, you know, it was all fun, you know, MCC, JDs on commercial, but you know, everybody, you know, we it was like two crews that was cool with each other,
yeah, yeah,
and two
yeah.
crews that was cool. So
No, I
that's how
mean,
we knew.
no, I mean, I remember, man. Like, I wish I had been more of. I wish I had a documented more back in the '80s when we first started, because I remember there was hundreds of crews out. You know,
Yeah,
like I tell people, I still have a vivid memory of outside of us dancing on the street corners when I would get in the car and go perhaps to the store with my mom. You would pass by so many other corners
yeah,
before you
yeah,
came back home, and you would just see tons of kids out dancing. And then we used to go down to Michigan Avenue, and it would
yeah,
be kids all over Michigan Avenue or Rush Street, because we knew how to attract the crowd. So because breaking was at a height, which is why they even that's even why I went to the big screen, because they knew that they could make some money off of us.
right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying? They was trying to see who could come out with the movie first. After Flashdance came out, in '83. Then in '84, you had Breaking, you had B Street, and then you had Breaking 2, and a couple other movies came out that same year. So '84 was pivotal with
right.
Breaking.
The, and during that time, I can't remember who she was, but someone came to us and they said, we know that you guys are pretty good breakers. It's
Uh-huh.
like, okay, and I can't remember the guy's name or whatever, but they took us down to Oak Street Beach where this girl that she was an up and come singer.
Hmm.
So she needed breakers in her video.
Okay.
So our whole thing was like, okay, we're gonna break. How much we get paid?
Right.
You know, so the guy was like, I'm gonna work that out. Don't worry about it. You know, she just needs y'all to break, on North Avenue Beach. So
Right.
we out there and she's singing and we doing, we performing. But like I said, from that day, like we never discussed, the money thing, We don't know what happened. We don't know if the guy that took us there got paid for us breaking or
Hmm.
or what. I just know that we did that video with that girl that was singing and they had the cameras out there and everything with us performing and everything. I don't even know what happened to that video, but
Oh,
somebody
wow.
said that they came across that video though.
Oh,
I
okay.
think Gordo's sister might still have a tape.
Okay. Was she a
Yeah.
local artist, or was she on her way
She
to
was
start?
she was from she was somebody. I just can't remember who she was.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I can't remember who she was.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, before we conclude, let's talk about how the dance has advanced. You do know that breaking is going to the Olympics next month,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I
So,
wish I was in shape.
so let's talk about that, because I know some people have mixed feelings about it. Some people say it's not going to be the same. It's going to change the game and all this and that. But what's your opinion on it?
It's I would like to be I would like to be one of the people that would sit there and be one of the main judges.
Hmm.
Just so like I told you that, I see the power moves coming before the choreographer. You know what I'm saying? Before the whole routine.
Hmm.
See, everybody's you can break, but they taking away everything before you start your breakdancing move. They taking away the up rock. They taking away the moves and the dancing behind while somebody out there breaking. Your whole team is in the back still doing a routine while you out there performing.
Hmm.
They getting away from all that. They just doing a little bit of up rock, then they just going to the power move.
Hmm.
So I would like me being a judge. I could sit there and talk to everybody on the panel like, okay, so where they routine at?
Hmm.
They just breaking, with the whole choreography with the guys in the back that's really throwing down while they guys out there performing at the same time.
Hmm.
They getting away from all that, and he's not even up rocking. He's doing a little bit, and then he just start going into his breaking, and it's a little tumbling and it's flipping and it's flares, you know, and you know it's a lot that you know who gonna be the judge and all that before we go to the Olympics. Are they just gonna get people that don't have nothing to do with hip hop being the judge?
Yeah, you know, that's I think that's the question yet to be answered because I don't really I'm not connected in the loop as to who's going to be the judges. I've just kind of heard some hearsay he say she say stuff, but at the end of the day, it's kicking off on August 9th and the 10th
Mm-hmm.
in Paris, France.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that I've heard some people that were from the community, the hip hop community that were involved, and then I heard that some of them got kicked out. So I don't know how much of it is going to be, judged by participants from the community of hip hop versus because I always said I don't care who you are, if you ain't actually participated in the dance, you're not going to be a good judge, in my opinion.
But they do that. They
Yeah,
do that.
I know.
Like you got coaches that's in the NBA that ain't coached, they haven't never even coached. You know, like NBA players or college team players. They just coaches.
Right.
They making them coaches. So even when it comes to singing talent, these people, you got people up there that's not even really singers. They up there judging, you know, by ear because oh yeah, she sounds good. Oh yeah, he sounds good. But that's the thing they're gonna take away. They're gonna put somebody else famous or something like in there to draw the crowd in.
Yeah.
They're not gonna really use real. They might have a couple of hip hop people in there,
mm-hmm.
and you know they coming from California or New York. It ain't gonna be no Chicago guy.
Yeah, well, like I said, that to me, you know, you automatically disqualified because
right. That's because
there is no way that anybody can judge anything if you haven't participated in it. Now,
right.
you can be taught what to look for, but that's still differently from actually participating in it. Just like boxing, like if you don't know how to come with a the right type of punch because you've never done it, then how do you know how to judge somebody else on it?
Right.
You can't.
You can't. You can't.
You know, and so and I know that there's this thing where some people like to judge by what the audience like. Okay, but not all but you can't rely on that 100% because sometimes the audience don't even know what they're looking at.
Right, they don't. They just see somebody. They just see people out there performing. They like, oh, okay, that was nice.
Right,
but they don't even know that the move that he went into is not even. I'm trying to figure out how you really gonna judge it.
Yeah,
that's what I want to know. How you gonna be a judge from them performing the pop to the breaking to the flares to the gymnastic move? How you gonna judge all that?
Yeah,
because you got to watch everything that each person is doing.
Yep.
Are you gonna judge by crews or are you going individual?
Right. And it's kind of like you can't really judge, equally or righteously if people are in different categories. Just like in wrestling, like you play football, right?
I played all sports.
Okay.
One of my main ones was wrestling. So
see, I was just going to say. So I wrestled when I was in high school,
right?
And the thing is, you had to wrestle by your division, by your weight. Like if I was 115 or 120 in my division, I couldn't wrestle somebody that was 320.
If you was that good, you could.
Well, but I'm just saying, like typically they kept you in a division.
Right, they did. They did.
So because it's so going back to the point that I'm making, like if you was a head spinner is different from somebody doing a backspin.
Right.
So how you gonna compete these two cats? He's a head spinner and he's a back spinner. Those are two different moves.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like judgment's got to be on specifics. Like okay, here's two poppers, here's two head spinners, here's two windmillers, whatever moves that they're specializing in. Who can do it and who can do it better? But when you
Right.
got two different variables going on, then it's just kind of like how are you going to compare? A backspin and a head spin is two different type of styles of moves.
Right. Right. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna like I said, that's why if we all came together,
Mm-hmm.
if we all came together and people hear what we saying and they know that we was part of the big movement too, but we just wasn't on the big screen like everybody else was,
Right.
because Chicago wasn't. We didn't have people here saying we gonna do our thing. See, California, New York, they had that. We didn't have it. Chicago, they seen us like that. They seen us as thugs out there dancing. You know, they wasn't nobody trying to put money or take us to the big screen, unlike like they did in New York and California.
Yeah.
We didn't have nobody like that organizing anything for us to go to the next level. But believe me, a lot of us would have been in the movies also.
Now, let me ask you.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, were you a part or were you aware of back in '84 when in here in Chicago when the Saxon Paint Company sponsored the citywide breakdance competition?
Yeah.
Was you a part of that?
No, I didn't get part of that.
Okay.
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, because I was just thinking like that was really cool, you know, for anybody that was around at that time, because I
didn't. I was coming out of school, graduating, getting ready to do all that. So I didn't do that.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened with Eddie and all them to where they didn't get a hold of that themselves.
Yeah, we definitely got to catch up with him, man, because like I said, I would love to hear his side of the story.
And that dude can tell you some stuff, man.
Yeah.
He, from me just talking to him, man, I run into him, and that's the crazy thing. I runs into this dude in the strangest places. I was coming up an alley on Commercial, and he rolled up on me like, "What you doing, Carl?" You know, and I'm looking like, I'm like, "What up, boy?" He with his girl. He's like, "Nah, man." I'm like, "Man, I need to talk to you, dude." And I told him that I wanted to talk to you so we can do this interview thing. He told me, "Yeah, my girl got the phone. You know, I don't have a phone. I just, you know." I said, "Dude, you got to get connected in the world, dude."
Yeah.
I said, "How you don't have no connection?"
Yeah.
And you know, he out there doing murals. You know, he painting walls and stuff like that. He doing that.
Yeah.
He getting paid for doing it.
Yeah, I heard, and that's
he getting paid for doing it. So why you don't have no phone?
Right.
That's why I'm like, why you don't have no phone?
Right.
So he told me where he was doing his art on the east side. I go over there. I talk to him. Some people come up. They ain't seen me in a long time. It's like, "Hey man, how you do? You still look the same, man." You know. I'm like, "Yeah, you." I'm like, "No, I'm old now. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. If y'all still doing it, I can say, man, y'all in shape."
Well, one thing I definitely want to get you to do, man, is come visit us at the Chicago Hip Hop Heritage.
Yeah, I know you had sent me something, but I was going through something, so I'm kind of like open for stuff now.
Yeah. I'll send you, because like tomorrow I'll be there from tomorrow from 12 to 5. But I want you to come see it. I want you to contribute to it if you have any pictures, any kind of artifacts that you would like to donate to the museum. We would be more than happy to take it.
I talked to my boy. He was gonna be on tonight, Joseph. He actually got an awesome trophy.
Okay.
That he kept, like one of the first little trophies that breaking that they was presenting out here in Chicago.
Oh wow!
I was like, dude, they would put your trophy in the museum. He's like, you think? I said, yeah, they looking for anything. I said, if the name and stuff is on there, the trophy. I don't know what happened to our trophies, but mine personally, I don't know, because I done moved so much. I don't know what happened to trophies.
Right.
So I said, if you still got yours, dude, if you want to give it up, they put it in the museum.
For sure.
He's supposed to came on tonight. I don't know what happened. So
yeah, well, just if you talk to him again,
have a trophy.
Let them know, and again, like I said, I'll send you the information so that way you can share with other people if they want to come by and check it out themselves. They can. I'm usually there on Saturdays, and yeah, man, it's designed for us to share our history and tell our stories. So and then that's why I do this platform, to let people be able to share their stories, so that we can have it circulating on the channel on YouTube. But then the museum is for physical attachment, so people can come in and physically see the stuff that we've done over the years.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I just hate that more guys haven't tuned in.
Yeah.
They all hip hop and where they at. What's going on.
Yeah.
Especially when your name is out here and people know what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Even some of your guys, they should still be on just talking about it.
Yeah. For sure.
The support. That's the whole thing. We need the support.
Yeah.
One another. That's why Chicago wasn't on the map for, because believe me, Chicago would have got up with New York and California. Believe me,
For sure. For sure. For
believe me,
sure. For sure.
they would have got up. We would have handed it to them. Believe me.
Yeah.
We would've handed it to 'em.
I don't know if you heard. I don't know if you heard the story, but there was a time when the Brickheads, and I want to say this was back in the 90s, but the Brickheads went all the way to New York, bro, and battled Rocksteady.
I think Eddie said something about that.
Yeah.
I think Eddie said something about that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so we have a ton of stories like that too.
Another thing I want to tell you, because I know that it's going to be 1,000 crews, going for this this battle and stuff like that. So you already know it's already big name crews that's doing that stuff already, like the Jabberwockies and stuff like that. So their names might not be Jabberwockies, but they probably gonna have people, in those battles just to see, to win whatever the pot is, or whatever the medal or all that is.
Yeah.
So believe me, it's people already out there that's gonna already be in that, just to showcase. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a lot of them in that.
Yeah. Well, I'm
from
looking
the Jabberwockies.
I'm looking forward to it, man, just to kind of see, because this is for one, this is something that we didn't have the opportunity to be a part of.
Right.
Like breaking was never even considered to be a part of the Olympics back when we was in our heydays. You know what I'm saying? But now it's great for the young people, and to see some people compete for their country and win and have the opportunity to win a gold medal. That's huge.
Yeah. I hope the U.S. can pull it off, because it come from us.
Yeah.
So if you go back to the first breaking, you wouldn't believe what you seen them Africans doing on the dirt.
Right.
And that is old.
Yeah.
When I tell you old egg rolls and all that stuff, head spins on the dirt, they were doing it.
Yeah.
And this is old footage. And I seen that, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, that's that even it. All of this has a lineage. Like when you mentioned Michael Jackson earlier when we were talking about the robot, but there were people that were doing the robot before Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, they were.
And that's the point that I'm trying to make. Like, people don't understand this thing has a whole lineage. Some people think Michael Jackson created the moonwalk, but he did not.
We was already doing the moonwalk.
Yeah.
he just was somebody famous that went on there and did it. And so everybody looking like, what the hell is that?
Right.
We already know it's the moonwalk. Because we can actually skate across better than that.
Right.
They ain't saying nothing yet, but they saying that moonwalk. They ain't gonna never forget the moonwalk. But the moonwalk can go sideways, frontwards. They can do a whole bunch of things. Michael Jackson just did it backwards.
Yeah, and see, here's another misconception. Technically, that's called the backslide.
Right.
Really, the moonwalk is when you go in a circular motion.
Right.
So some people it's just like when the media start. The media is the one that starts saying breakdancing. We always call ourselves breakers, or in New York they call themselves b-boys. Right. So, but when the media get a hold of stuff, they change it all around. They're like, yeah, okay, they're breakdancing, they're breakdancers. Like, what? That came from the media. So I think that even with our terminology has been kind of misconstrued in many cases, because I don't know if you remember the crew from LA, or from they actually was I can't remember what town that they're from on the West Coast. I don't think they were from LA, but some city out there in California, the Electric Boogaloos. Okay.
Yeah.
And you remember they had the electric, they were the ones that developed the electric boogaloo style.
Mm-hmm.
Pop and Pete you know, they danced on Soul Train and everything. But Poppin' Pete was also in the movie Breaking. And so, when I talked to Poppin' Pete, he said back in '84 when they put out this book called Breakdancing, he was like, he said he remembered them going around interviewing people for the book, but Poppin' Pete he said I never was classified myself as a breakdancer. He said I've always been a popper. That's why it's Poppin' Pete. But when the book came out, they had him in there demonstrating these popping moves. But the name of the book is called Breakdancing.
Right.
I said, well, look at the movie. The whole movie was called Breaking, but most of the main cast the main actor that was casted in the film was Shabba-Doo, and Shabba-Doo wasn't a breakdancer; he was a locker.
Yeah. He wasn't even a hell of a breaker. It was like when he did his little work, I'm like,
yeah.
Let the other guy do it.
Yeah.
So they called it breaking, but wasn't nobody breaking.
Yeah, see, and that, I think the reason why is because that was just a more notable term and more popular at the time to use, at that time. So I think that sold the film better to call the movie Breaking, because obviously in '80 everybody was breaking more than they was anything else.
Right. They was popping and animating, and Boogaloo Shrimp, his little breaking, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, that wasn't even enough breaking.
Yeah.
Everybody remember him from him, doing the broom and doing his little popping and walking like a robot. That was it. But as far as his breaking, they weren't talking about his breaking. His breaking wasn't hit on nothing.
Yeah. But I appreciate when Poppin' Pete said that, because he was just like, bro, they get stuff misconstrued all the time. And I like to correct people when they do that. I mean, you can't just throw everybody in the same category just because you think that's what it is. That's just like saying all black people look alike. Well, no, we do not. You know what I'm saying? There are differences. And just like graffiti, some people say, hey, I don't like graffiti because it all look the same and I can't read it. Well, that's your problem. Once you learn how to study the formula of the letter structure, you'll be able to understand what the word says.
Right. Right. That's just like that's like the kids today. They don't know what cursive writing is.
Mm-hmm.
So if you write a whole paragraph in cursive, you can't get a young person today right now to read what you just wrote. Right. Because they're not teaching cursive anymore in school.
That's crazy.
So it's a lot of things that's being changed, and these younger people they don't know. Like you saying, they changed the name for certain things, and it's not that's not what it is.
Yeah.
That's not what it is.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be hard for me to really sit there and watch them, doing this Olympic stuff and trying to figure out, like you said, the head spin and the back spin. This guy doing 1,000 back spins and this dude doing 1,000 head spins. How can you say, it's two different things? Yeah. Now they both doing it. You're gonna see who do it better and what they doing different in it.
Right. Right.
Other than that, unless this guy got a whole thing, head spin, back up, and he just killing it,
Right.
But this guy just doing the backspin, that's all he got, and a little flare, but this dude doing it all.
Yeah.
So he's the one that's gonna take the competition.
Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how it's going to all be judged. Because this will be the first time they did a youth Olympics in 2018. I didn't get a chance to see all of it, but I did capture who were the winners of placing gold, bronze, and silver. But this will be the first adult Olympics, and I'm curious as to see how they're gonna do it and who's gonna win.
And that's our win.
August. It's going to be August, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it's going to be we could watch it on Netflix if I'm not mistaken. But they said it's going to be, the date is set for August 9th and 10th.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, and as a matter of fact,
this is gonna be real interesting because, like I said, it's gonna be some type of stars that's gonna be judging this thing that they know about it, but they didn't perform it. And see, they had somebody in there like Fat Joe, you know, he know about breaking and popping and all that, but he never did it.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? They have people like that. You're not gonna have nobody like one of us like that did the moves and tell you, okay, he didn't come out that move the right way. You know, this guy, you know, they can't get it, they can't break it down, you know, how we can break it down.
Yeah.
They just know that this person a hell of a breaker, he a hell of a popper, he a hell of a locker, you know, he a hell of a tumbler. That's all they can see. But find somebody that was doing the work, they not part of doing the work. They just part of hip hop. That's it.
And you know
They
what
just
else?
know that in their videos, they just had break dancers.
And you know what else that's a little troubling for a lot of people is that they're classifying the dance now as a sport. And
Right.
so some people feel a little uneasy about that because they like, man, this has always been a dance. It never was a sport. But now they're categorizing it as a dance sport. You
Right.
know, so you know, some people kind of feel a little uneasy about that, you know, because it's just like, you know, obviously when you dance, you have to dance to music, right?
Right.
You know, now even like in gymnastics, when you would see the gymnastic sets, they would incorporate most of it is about tumbling, right?
Right.
But they would incorporate a little dance flair to it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? When they did floor exercises or you know maybe
Right.
some of the rings exercises
Hmm.
or on the horse or whatever, you know, they especially some of the girls, you know, they would
Right.
incorporate a little dance in there, but most of it was the sport itself of
Right.
tumbling. You know, but so now they're saying, you know, breaking is, you know, is like slash sport. You know, just like, oh, so you know, it's kind of like up in the air, like which way is this going?
It's not I don't know how they doing that. How they calling it a sport, you know, but that's something they want to name it. You know, that's
Right,
what they're
right,
gonna do.
right.
But it's y'all have all, you can even put it in all these different dance competitions that you have going on, you know, because it's in a category by itself. I can't see you putting it with nothing else.
Yeah, yeah,
It's in
yeah,
its own category. It's, you can be like it's something from a different planet. You know,
yeah,
it
yeah,
ain't
yeah,
what everybody else is doing.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like when you see that, you're gonna be like, where the hell that come from, or how it come about?
And
You know,
I
it's from something totally different.
and I mean, I get the element of it being competitive, where that part can fit in terms of in terms of the Olympics, because the Olympics is all about competition.
Right,
But the Olympics is also more about sports related competition,
right,
not so much dance, right? You know, because dance is like you say, it's a category by itself.
right, right. It's something you're gonna have to sit there and you gotta think about it, like, because there's gonna be some things I want to know how you're gonna judge it.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna sit there, I'll be right there with you, like I can sit there and ask you, like, what you think? You know,
Right,
like,
right, right.
what's your opinion? And did they judge that right? Or, you know, it's hard. It's gonna
Because
be hard.
just imagine somebody popping with no music because they're trying to
Right,
pop. They're trying to pop in relation to the competitiveness of the actual sport of what the Olympics is based on. You
right,
know, and a lot of the competitive outlets in the Olympics is not geared around music. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, it's more silence. You know, when you
right,
see people trying to focus on whatever their category of competition is, so that they can outdo the next their opponent. You know,
right,
where dance, it's all about us revolving around the music.
right, right, right. And
So
they don't know that their music is the thing that like that fuel.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like when you hear that beat, and like I tell you, when we used to perform, I never seen a sea of people like that before, and it kind of like caught me off guard when I came out on stage and we getting set up, and I looked out there and I seen 1,000 people. I was like, it kind of was like mind blowing. It's like I was like, it was like me being a star, you
yeah,
know, and people was there to see me dance on stage. And then when the music came on, I went into a whole different thing. Like I didn't see them no more. So my
yeah,
routine or whatever I was doing, the people weren't even there no more until we finished it. And we was getting, you know, a bunch of people clapping for us and whistling, and we walking off. And I'm like, wow, did y'all have the same effect I had? Did you see all those people when you danced? They say, no, I got lost in the music.
wow.
I got lost in the whole performance that I was doing. I didn't see the people no more. But everybody, we all got cold feet for a minute because when the first music first came on, we ended up getting a late start, and then we had to tell them to do it over again.
Wow.
You know, because we was like blown away because there was 1,000 people at this park. You know, it was like we was at a concert. And when I tell you it was 1,000 people in Springfield,
Uh-huh.
it was 1,000 people. It's like one of the biggest competitions out there in Springfield.
That's
And that competition, I can't remember what we came in, but there was some brothers out there that was pretty cold, and they was all dressed like old men. So
wow.
yeah, that was a little mind blowing. So I knew that they probably actually took first place because they was cold blooded.
That's what's up.
But everybody else was mediocre. They wasn't doing much.
Okay.
So if the guy that took us there got money for us, you know, we never said anything about it.
Well, listen, my brother, thank you so much for coming on here. I don't know what happened to your homeboy Andre, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
He might have got a little camera shy because we, you know, like me, I had to really get myself hyped up for it because I really don't do a lot of talking. I'm just me doing it. I'm trying to remember and think, and I know that's why I was bringing him and Joseph on, trying to get Eddie and some more guys so they can share this little wealth, you know, what we was doing. But these guys, you know, it's hard to get these guys, and I don't know what it is. They might be kind of camera shy too, you know. But when I got on the first time, I said I got to get over that.
Yeah, well, I thank you, my brother, because you know, again, this is very important. It's people like you that people need to see. You know, like
Right.
I don't know if that even register when you say, well, you know, I'm a little camera shy, but just imagine if you're not being seen, people don't even know if they, especially like a younger
Right.
guy, right? He don't even know you exist because
Right.
he's young, first of all, and if you're not visibly in front of him to where he
Right.
can see that you were a part of this big thing that we know and love in terms of the dance,
Right.
they will have no clue. So
Right. That's like
you can't
it's
really
like you got a radio show.
and that's the point. Like you can't
They hear my voice, but they don't see me.
Yeah. So you know, and like I say, you know, and in some cases, if it's not like you said, we didn't blow up, we didn't have the platforms like New York and California, so that automatically made us kind of like hidden to a degree. And so if we didn't come out and do what we did to some degree to where people kind of remembered or somebody else referred, like I wouldn't even knew about you if it wasn't for Pac-Man.
Right.
So we probably wouldn't even be having this conversation right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why that's the whole communication and referrals is so important. And I'm the type that once somebody tell me about somebody, I want to reach out to them because I want to hear their story, you know, directly from them. You know what I'm saying? Like Pac-Man can't tell your story like you can tell your story.
Right.
You know.
Right. Like Eddie, like even though, you know, your crew members gonna have your support, they can be like, I can tell you when this dude did like I did my first flat at a battle.
Right.
You know, and it kind of like blew me away because I was trying to my hardest because I already tumbled. But somehow that the floor where we was at the Union Hall, it was a little moist.
Okay.
So when I went down to do my flip for the first time, I started doing flares.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God. And everybody was looking like, oh, he did flares for like the first time. And it like blew people's mind. I did my first flares because I was trying it on mats, and I realized you have no hand movement on the mat. The mat was locking my hands. So when I got on the floor, I actually was doing the flares, you know, and I was doing them with my legs together and open. For the first time I did the flares, and that kind of like blew me away. That was the last time I ever did flares.
Wow. See, we have so many rich experiences too. You know, everybody's experience is not the same. So I think that's why we have to share our experiences. And again, we don't have any books, we don't have any documentaries, and we don't have any movies. You know,
that's why if I can find Gordo's sister, and she still had that tape, because there's a couple of tapes floating around with us on those tapes.
Mm-hmm.
So you might even see some Chirac guys on the tape too, because it was somebody VHS, you know, with they little camera and stuff like that.
Right.
Because I was told that He's like, man, I seen you on a video VHS tape. I'm like, where's that? He's like, man, somebody else had it. You know, like, man, y'all was on the lakefront. Y'all was over here battling some guys, and I have not seen those tapes since.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen the guys that talked about those tapes and who had them. But Gordo's sister is supposed to have one tape.
Okay. Yeah, I would be interested in
So
seeing that video that you say that y'all danced in.
yeah, so if she have that tape, I'm gonna see it. I don't know if it's a member, you know, something because of her brother. You know, I don't know if she want to give it up because of her brother, because the Gordo was no longer here. So that's what the memory of him enjoying, you know, breaking.
Right.
So I'm not sure. We probably have to try and get a copy without it getting damaged.
Right.
Because you know it's on a VHS. You know, it get locked up, and
yeah, I know.
you know, so we probably have to find somebody that can copy it without it messing up.
Right.
So if I see her, because they say she moved back here, so if she still got it, I'll ask her about it.
Okay.
And maybe you can put that, you know, you'll be able to put that in the museum as well.
I'm gonna send you some clips that I have of us dancing back in the 90s. Some short clips I'll send you that you know, it was me, Pac-Man, another cat named Puma K, Eddie, you know, Ruben, and Gordo. Gordo was with us that day too.
Okay.
Yeah, and we were all dancing at the community center. And
okay.
yeah, this is maybe like around, it had to be like, I want to say like 92, 93, somewhere up in there. And you know, and I think Eddie had the camera, if I'm not mistaken. Either him or Chinaman, one of them had the camera. I think it was Chinaman's camera, because when they recorded it, I got a copy of it, and then, you know, I kept it for many years,
right,
on with the VHS format.
Right.
And so I recently kind of, you know, digitized a little bit of it, and so I have it to be able to show digitally now.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was back when Gordo was still alive. So I have a little bit of that, him dancing on there.
Oh man, his sister probably like that too, and his brother.
Yeah.
So if they got that tape, I'll find out if she still do it. Maybe you can do that. I'll tell her that it won't get messed up, and maybe you can pull from it.
Okay.
You know, and I see if she'll let it go.
Okay. Yeah. And I totally understand. You know, we can definitely make a copy of it and get it back to her, because, you know, that's we all about preserving. You know, and you know, we know how important it is to hold to dear memories like that. So I get it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, my brother. Well, we're going to go ahead and conclude. What would you like to say in conclusion? Any up and coming, or any words of advice to any up and coming dancers or anybody that wants to get into the game? What would you like to say to them?
Stay true to the hip hop breaking. You know, don't change anything from the original to what they doing now, because what I see, I like a lot of stuff that's happening now, but they're getting away from, you know, the real hip hop or b-boy. You know what? You know, because you get b-boy and hip hop. You know, they be trying to say something different, you know, about hip hop and being a b-boy. You know, so I don't know what to say about that. You know, but some people are, I ain't hip hop. Some of it, I ain't b-boy. You know, so you gotta you know, if you can stay true to how it started, I say keep it going that way. Like Eddie and them kept it going, and it's kind of mind blowing to see somebody his age still trying to compete and still doing it.
Yeah.
So if any young guys out there doing it, you know, keep up the good work, you know, and keep it true to the style, the art that it is.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and
I wish I can go to the Olympics.
Well, you know, Poppin' Pete. Now, Poppin' Pete, I think Poppin' Pete just turned 61. And Poppin' Pete still can go, boy, as a popper.
He can still go.
He can still go, bro. Like if you go to his page on Facebook,
Poppin'
Pete still pops right now today.
Okay.
You know, because he trains with people all over the world.
Oh, okay. So you know, I'll be seeing these other guys that popping, and they doing some stuff that's kind of like, I'm like, it's kind of it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. But I seen some of that and the guys that we had that used to pop, and I used to be like, I remember Rodney used to pop like that. It was a lot of guys that I knew that was hella poppers. Like even the animation, looked like they, like a cartoon. They was pretty good at it. A lot of stuff I see now, I just see that they got a routine with what they doing and how they glide and that it looked pretty good, man.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to look up Poppin' Pete.
I'll send you a couple of links because you matter of fact, they even just had they do a poppers picnic out in LA every year. And poppers from all over come out, get down, bro. And I'm talking about these are OGs. These guys, not young brothers, these are old guys.
Mm-hmm.
They still be coming out with the touch, and everything, man. All type of stuff, man.
Yeah, I just seen a little boy touch with his fingers, man. When I tell you he was doing something with his fingers, I mean, he was really. I look like that's kind of cold, and he was doing it with his fingers.
Yes.
And I was looking like how he was making the angles, and then he started going up top. I said, "Oh man, this little kid bad. This little kid bad." And I never thought whatever he was doing with his hands, he was doing it with his hand. He was locking, and I was like, "Oh man, that's
that's the whole style. They call it the finger touch. Finger touch.
Yeah, he was really doing it. Then he went into the whole when he started doing it, going all across, and I was like, this kid is bad, man. Keeping it real.
Yeah. Word up, man. Well, thank you once again, my brother, man. I appreciate you, and tell all the rest of the guys, man. Tell them to hit me up, man, when they ready.
I will, man. I will. That's why I'm trying to bring them in so I can just chill and listen to them tell you more stuff. Because I'm pretty sure I left out a whole bunch of stuff. Because I know Joseph and Andre, they can bring up some moments, that I probably can't even remember, because they did go on a few battles without me.
Okay.
Because I had something to do.
Yeah.
And then they came back and they told me about the battle. Like, you should have been there, So they did a lot of battles without me too, because I had, growing up then, our parents kind of a little more stricter than how they is now. How the kids so free. So my mom was actually like, no, I need you to do this, and that can wait. It was like, we still was, listening to what our parents was telling us. Like, you won't be doing that today. Right. Until I was out of that household, then that's what it was. So they did a lot of things without me. I did a lot of things without them. At least one of us got to go that can do what they need us to do. So if I wasn't there, Dre was there, Joseph was there, or maybe my brother sometimes. But that's how it was.
Well, listen, man, I'm going to send you the link for this episode. For anyone that you'd like to share with, put it on your page. Let people know what you did, man. Like for those that don't know, let them, because I'll send you the link and then you can share it on your page, send it to people. That way they can watch it. For anybody that didn't tune in to the live broadcast,
right?
They can watch it back, make comments or whatever, So it's all good.
I appreciate it, man.
No doubt, man. And enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll be in touch with you sooner than later.
Okay, you as well.
All right, man. Peace and
all right.
All right.
All right.